Welcome to today's session on Orientation on UGC NET Examination Paper 2. I am Dr. Pushpalata, working as Professor in Department of Management, Hyderabad. As you all know, NTA UGC NET Examination, the notification has released in the month of June and last date for notification is over. The dates are being still awaited as due to the pandemic situation. The UGC has not given any clear-cut guidelines on the date of UGC conduct of UGC NET examination. So before we go into UGC NET examination, let us go through today's overview of the session. Today I am going to discuss on the details of UGC NET paper 2 for those whoever are appearing first time. So whoever are appearing first time, this video will be useful for you to understand what is UGC NET examination and what are the benefits of applying for UGC NET examination. Then we will discuss study plan topic wise based on the paper 2 syllabus of commerce and management. Then we will come back with the strategies that you have to prepare whenever you are been aspiring for UGC NET examination. We will also discuss here 5 reasons why practice of UGC NET previous papers is a must criteria for all the candidates. About NTA examination. So what is this NTA? The full form of NTA is National Testing Agency. So it is an independent and autonomous and self-sustained premier organization which was established by MHRD and Government of India. So what is the objective behind forming the NTA or behind establishment of NTA? The objective was to conduct efficient, transparent and international standard tests. So what was the main objective of NTA? It was being established for conducting of international transparent and international standard tests in order to assess the competency of candidates for admission. Then the another objective was to undertake the research. So here research is in the educational, professional and testing systems to identify the gaps in the knowledge systems and take steps for bridging them. So the purpose of establishment was to undertake the research in the areas of education and to identify the gaps in the knowledge systems that have been prevailing and to take the steps for bridging the gaps. The third objective was to produce and disseminate information and research on education and professional development standards. So they are being into the areas where they are being disseminating the information to conduct the research on education and develop some professional standards. The University Grants Commission has entrusted the responsibility of conducting UGC NET to NTA. Earlier, UGC used to conduct the examination for eligibility of lecturership and GRF. Then it has handed over to Central Board of Secondary Education, that is CBSE. And now UGC has entrusted the responsibility of conduct of UGC NET examination to NTA, that is National Testing Agency. So here UGC NET examination is what it is for. It is for to determine the eligibility for assistant professor and junior research fellowship and assistant professor in Indian universities and colleges. So here if I qualify UGC NET examination, what is the benefit for me? Once I clear the NET, I will be eligible to become assistant professor or able to pursue my junior research fellowship in colleges and universities. So if at all I am eligible for becoming an assistant professor, I can apply in the government notifications or state universities as an assistant professor, and with the interview procedure of that particular university, you held a qualification that you are eligible for lecturership. It doesn't mean that if at all you have been qualifying NET, your job is ready with the university. It is only an eligibility criteria where state universities or deemed universities or central universities prefer, and based on that eligibility, you can appear for that particular interview, and if at all you are been getting selected, you are eligible for being a assistant professor in the recognized universities. If at all you are been pursuing JRF, then what will be the criteria? So what is JRF? JRF is for those whoever are having interest in research. It is a government provided fellowship for studying and researching in your respected subject and field. So suppose if at all I have to do the research, I have to apply for my PhD, or I have to apply for my further research in my respected subject. Now we need some assistance. We need some fund, and these assistance will be provided by the government in the form of fellowship if at all you are been clearing for JRF. So that is considered as junior research fellowship. So the candidates whoever are qualified for the award of JRF are eligible to pursue research in the subject of their post graduation. Suppose I have done my post graduation in MBA, so I am eligible for doing my research using my JRF awardee in management or in a related subject, and are also eligible for assistant professor. So here I have two advantages by qualifying for JRF. Either I am eligible for assistant professor, or I am eligible to get the government fellowship if at all I am pursuing some research in the known universities. So we are being eligible to receive fellowship of UGC under various schemes subject to their finding placement in universities, IITs or institutions. So it is mandatory that whatever the university norms are, according to the university norms and according to the government norms, a person is eligible to get junior research fellowship. The validity period of the offer will be 3 years with effective date of issue of JRF award letter. So it is also important that you have to use this JRF fellowship award within 3 years. That is, within 3 years you can apply anywhere to get the benefit of the fellowship. Otherwise the JRF letter is been terminated. You are not eligible in future, but you will be eligible for lecturership but not JRF after the 3 years. If at all we talk about the stipend that you will be getting by doing the fellowship, here according to the earlier guidelines, the fellowship amount was being rupees 25,000, but according to the revised guidelines of UGC, net here you are being eligible for getting rupees 31,000 per month as a fellowship amount if at all you are being qualified for JRF. So whoever are aspiring for JRF, it is really a benefit wherein it is almost similar to you like a corporate salary if at all you are being a fresher in your studies. And if at all you are being aiming at senior research fellowship in science, humanities and social sciences, your revised fellowship amount has been increased to rupees 35,000 per month. So apart from this stipend, you are also eligible to get HRA. So HRA will be the house rent allowance according to the revised rates. It's 8%, 16% and 24% according to the city or location wherever you are been residing it. You will be eligible for getting the HRA. The other terms and conditions will remain as same as per the UGC 12th plan JRF guidelines. So friends, try to aim at JRF because to pursue your research, if at all you are looking for a better career in research, it is very important for you to concentrate on eligibility for JRF and prepare well for your UGC NET examination. So about UGC NET JRF, the mode of examination is, it is conducted as a computer based test here. The pattern will be, it will be consisting of two papers. Both the papers will be consisting of objective type, multiple choice questions. There will be no break between papers. Earlier we used to have a written mode of examination, but since 2 years after NTA has taken into charge, we are having the computer based test only. So friends, here If at all you have been new for the computer based test, you may feel difficulty in writing the examination. Try to do so many mock tests wherein you get habituated for practicing the computer based tests, and you can manage your time perfectly, and there will be no break here. Earlier there was a break in the written mode of examinations, but here there will be no break between the papers. Coming to paper 1, the number of questions that will be asked in paper 1 are 50, and the total marks will be 100. That is, each question carries 2 marks. And coming to paper 2, you will be having 100 questions. Marks will be 200. So total your marks are 300, and out of that you have to attempt 150 questions. So 150 questions will be there, 300 marks will be there, and duration is 3 hours. So these 100 questions, here we are having 180 minutes. So in the 180 minutes you have to answer 150 questions. So you are having approximately 1 minute 15 seconds for each question. So time management is very important in the examinations, and mock test will help you in minimizing or maintaining the time at the time of examination. For each correct response, the candidate will get 2 marks. There is no negative marking for incorrect response. So here there is no negative marking. The advantage of UGC NET examination is, like other competitive examinations, in other competitive examinations there will be negative marks, but here there will be no negative marks. And remember, here there will be options where you have to check on where unanswered questions are marked for review. If at all you have been clicking the question as marked for review, for that the marks will not be awarded, or unanswered questions also the marks will not be awarded. You only for dropped questions you will be given marks, will be given to all the, if any, marks will be given to all the candidates. If at all there are any mistakes in the questions, the marks will be given to all the candidates, and only the attempted questions will be given the credit marks. That is, marks will be given only to the attended questions. So remember this, as it is a computer based test, you have to be very careful in managing the time, and always review. You try to maintain your time, because in 150 minutes you have to write 150 questions, and that 30 minutes you have to again put for revision of these 150 questions. Then only you will be able to clear the NET examination, or you can go with a review of your examination. Don't try to miss any questions thinking that you don't know the answer, because there is no negative marking. Try to manage your time and mark all the questions and answer all the questions. Eligibility criteria, if at all you are being under general category or unreserved or general EWS candidates, they have to secure at least 55% marks in master degree or equivalent examination to appear for the UGC NET examination. If at all you are being from OBC belonging to non-creamy layer, or you are being from SC/ST or disability, you have to at least secure 50 marks in your master degree or equivalent examination, and you are eligible for this test. If at all you are applying for JRF, the age limit is not more than 30 years, and for women or whoever are from ABC, OBC or SC/ST transgender categories, they will be having a age relaxation of 5 years. That is, up to 35 years you are eligible to apply for UGC NET JRF. There is no age upper limit in applying for UGC NET examination for the eligibility of assistant professor. So you can apply at any age, at 45 years, at 50 years, at 60 years also you can apply. There is no upper age limit for UGC NET examination if at all you are aiming for assistant professor. But for JRF, if at all you are being a student, you are being a fresher, or you are looking at career at research and you are below 30 years, kindly concentrate on getting the JRF award. Tips and techniques to crack NTA. So as we have discussed what is NTA examination, I just want to give you some suggestions wherein some tips and techniques how can you crack NTA examination. Preparing well in time. Nearly the UGC NET examination is conducted every 6 months. So in the month of January, in the month of December, and in the month of June, we are having examinations. So if at all there is no limit for applying for the examination, any number of times you can apply for NET examination. So here, preparing well in time. So you have ample of time. For 6 months you will be having time from one phase to the other phase. So if at all I am not getting qualified in the month of December, I can aim at June. So every 6 months I get an opportunity to write UGC NET examination. So within the 6 months you try to come out and sort out with the exact time subject plan or study plan so that you can prepare well. Practice past question papers. It is very important that you have to practice more number of previous question papers. That will give us an idea that how the questions will be asked. Try to know your syllabus. The UGC has prescribed syllabus for paper 2 as well as paper 1. So try to identify what are the keywords that are being given in the syllabus and try to understand our syllabus so that you will be uh, having an idea what to prepare and what topics to highlight and what topics to focus. Make some self notes whenever you are preparing. Try to see that you are making a written notes or either you are making your own self notes in the e form, that is in the word document or in ppt's form. Whatever you feel that okay it is an important term or it is an important point, try to cut copy paste in your word document. So you, for every unit you try to make one word document. Suppose you are preparing for higher education, try to make a word document on higher education. Whatever notes you have been preparing from the internet or any of the ebooks, if you feel that one point is important, you try to cut copy paste and cut copy that and paste it in the higher education document. So it will help you at the time of examinations whenever you are preparing. Whatever the highlighted points are, just go through rather than going through the whole material. Deep and quality study. As the competition have increased, it is very important to not only to go with the basic concepts, but you have to always go into deep insights and study qualitative in a qualitative manner about that particular topic. Time management. As it is very important that we are having limited time to prepare, you have to make your study plan accordingly and manage your time in preparation and stick on to the timetable that you have been made. Self confidence. Whenever you are preparing, self confidence is one of the trait that will help you to remember a lot, to get a confidence that you are been well prepared for the examination, and you can remember the answers well with your confidence levels. Equalizing both the subjects. So here we are having two papers. One is paper 1 and paper 2. Sometimes what we try to do is we will only focus on subject 2 and we will not try to focus on subject paper 1, which is of research and teaching aptitude. But here whenever we want to crack NTA, it is very important that you have to give equal weightage to both the subjects. So let me guide you on how to prepare or what are the different preparation strategies. So here there are three phases: before preparation phase, post preparation phase. Whenever we are going on with preparation phase, we have to see that okay, I have applied today for the NET examination. The date has been released, the notification has been released, and I have filled the form. So from that day onwards, your before preparation phase starts on. So from that day onwards, you try to prepare or collect the material syllabus wise, have an idea on the syllabus wise, whatever the keywords are being specified in the syllabus wise. Try to identify the books that are being related with the syllabus, collect the material and organize them. Then after organizing them, understanding them, it is very essential that you have to do your SWOT. SWOT is what? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the net aspirants to get the direction to success. So here I have to identify what are the strong areas of me in the net examination in the syllabus. You, if suppose one is very strong in finance, so his strength is finance expertise. Suppose he is weak in marketing management, so your weakness is marketing management. Opportunity, you can understand very well and score very good at managerial economics, so it is an opportunity. Threat, whatever I study but I am still poor in business law, so that will become a threat. So you try to understand, you try to draw a matrix of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Identify the subjects and put that subjects into that particular SWOT, so that you can better understand. Study plan. So as I told, it is very important that you have to prepare your study plan. So here study plan is of two types. One is lesson plan and another is time plan. So lesson plan is what topic wise you are making a plan, and here time plan is whatever the schedule, that is timetable, 2 to 3 hours, 1 to 4 hours. In that way you have to make a lesson versus time plan. What is the time frame to complete one topic? That is also very important, and that comes under pre-preparation phase. Important books and websites. So no, so many students or faculty keep on asking me what are the important books before preparation phase. So here you have to gather as many as important books and different websites that have been providing us the information on NTA examination. Then coming to preparation phase, we have to manage our time, as whatever the time schedule or lesson plan we have to we have made, we have to stick accordingly. Then tips to study in a systematic way. Right, we have to generate our own tips, or we have to design our own tips to study in a systematic way and remember well. You follow some memory techniques like acronyms and mnemonics. Mnemonics is what? Suppose there is a full process and we have to remember whole process. It is very difficult for me to remember all whole process. So I am trying to identify the first words of the process and I will try to frame one word so that I can remember fast. So that is known as mnemonics. Mnemonics are short forms or abbreviations or phrases that we are making based on the large process. So try to come out with some memory techniques and prepare on in the preparation phase. Have a consistent and continuous preparation. It is very important that consistently and continuously you have to have an agenda in the mind that I have to crack NTA examination. You have to you have to see that what are the FAQs, frequently asked questions, and question patterns. Like if at all I am applying to for 2020, at least 5 years, that is since 2016, I have to see that what are the frequently asked questions that are there, in particularly in management, in ME, or in financial management, or in business laws. Whatever the topics you have been preparing, try to see that what are the frequently asked questions and what are the question patterns that they are been following in the UGC NET examination. So this will give us an idea that whenever we are preparing, what to prepare, how to prepare, and how focusedly we have to prepare. Then you try to form a study group either in the WhatsApp or Facebook, because nowadays we are having so many WhatsApp groups or Facebooks which are helping the UGC NET aspirants to and providing the study material on a daily basis so that they can understand and grasp well different subjects. So you try to be a form of any study group and WhatsApp. I have my own WhatsApp group, or I have my own Telegram channel, and so many have subscribed it. So in the same way, you try to see that you are being a part of any of the Telegram group or WhatsApp group or Facebook group. Then post preparation phase, take as many tests as you can. So after the preparation phase, that is post preparation phase, generally starts before your 15 days of examinations or 1 month of examinations. But generally what we try to do, we try to go on before 1 month the post preparation, pre preparation phase, and that is the general mistake what we try to do, and there where we fail to qualify for the NET examination. So your post preparation, that is 1 month before your examination, you have to take as many tests as you can. Practice makes you more perfect. So here whenever I am identifying the right option out of 4 options, all are similar to, and if at all I have to identify the right option, if at all I am practicing more and more tests, I will be able to choose the right answer. Attempting the test, evaluating test and feedback for the improvement of the aspirant. So it is very important that you attempt the test as well as you evaluate the test and try to come out with your own feedback for the improvement of the aspirant. So this happens in the post preparation phase. So here I have to go on with the gathering of syllabus, understanding the SWOT, making a study plan, and understand whatever the important books and websites are there in before preparation phase. Try to go on with your managing your time according to the schedule that you have made. Try to come out with memory techniques, make mind maps and mnemonics so that you can remember well. Consistent and continuous preparation, frequently asked questions and question patterns you have to follow on a regular basis. You be a part of any of the WhatsApp or Facebook. And in post preparation phase, take as many tests as you can. Practice makes you more perfect. So thank you all for hearing the session on what is NTA examination and orientation on paper 2. The next video will give you the orientation on paper 2 on subject wise for management as well as commerce. Thank you.